France will block firms registered in offshore tax havens from claiming aid from government coronavirus bailout, following similar moves by Denmark and Poland. Companies either registered, or controlling subsidiaries, in tax havens ineligible for €110 billion $108 billion rescue package.
Here's a summary of the article.
France will block firms registered in offshore tax havens from claiming aid from its government coronavirus bailout, following similar moves by Denmark and Poland. Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire announced Thursday that companies either registered, or controlling subsidiaries, in tax havens are ineligible for the €110 billion rescue package. It goes without saying that if a company has its tax headquarters or subsidiaries in a tax haven, I want to say with great force, it will not be able to benefit from state financial aid, Le Maire told the France Info radio station. And if your head office is located in a tax haven, it is obvious that you cannot benefit from public support. France is the third country to enforce such a measure amid the economic downturn caused by the coronavirus crisis. Let's end tax havens, which are the bane of modern economies, he said. Companies based on tax havens in accordance with EU guidelines cannot receive compensation, a statement from the country's finance ministry read. Of France's €110 billion package, €4 billion have been reserved for struggling startups, while €20 billion are being kept for larger firms, such as Air France.
This post received a score of 62,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
If you don't pay your share, you don't get to be bailed out. Simple as that. I am sure whatever tax havens they are registered in will bail them out. Also funny how people who call people living on social benefits scroungers, freeloading bastards never speak up when it's these corporations getting billions in bailouts.
I don't even understand what claims these companies could possibly have. If they aren't registered in France and don't officially operate in France, then they're not French companies and might as well ask any other country for aid.
The one in the Caymans sells anything to the French company Foo for 100. Company Foo sells the same thing for 100 and makes no profits. That's how tech giants make money in the EU. Apple Ireland sells an iPhone to Apple Italy for €800. Apple Ireland made €400 of profit for that iPhone and it's taxed very low in Ireland. Apple Italy made zero.
That is so blatantly breaking the spirit of the law, if not the letter. How do we allow them to get away with this nonsense?
Because they donate to the lawmakers who will be in charge of administering any punishment.
And how do we let them get away with it? It's mostly a rhetorical question, but it honestly baffles me how many people happily vote against their own self-interests.
Gotta own the libs even if it means owning yourself too. Only in the US and somewhat Canada does liberal mean the opposite of conservative. In most other places, they're almost synonyms. I mean politically, not grammatically.
That's because North America use liberal to define social policies, while Europe use it to define economical policies.
In the US, liberal and conservatives have both gotten into bed with big corporations. Some of the wealthiest people in the US are liberals. And that is why stuff like the tax shelters to skirt laws is such a huge problem. Both sides of the political aisle in the US enable it, for their own personal gain.
Don't be fooled by this empty announce. Companies in France are not registered in tax havens, otherwise they are not considered as French companies. The reality is that large French companies do have branches or sister companies abroad, and through a complex financial montage, they transfer money, profits there in order to not pay tax or pay quite less. This cheating strategy called fiscal optimization is completely legal and won't be a stop for government to give subsidies to companies doing this. Hell, some French banks who have the French government as shareholder are currently still doing and encouraging this practices. This is pure hypocrisy from Macron government, but not surprising as he is a former investment banker. To illustrate this opinion, here's an article. French from 6 months ago, where the financial administration is complaining that the French government is doing little to nothing to fight or even address the issue.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.